Good evening. My name's Pete Walters, and I'm with the Cable Advisory Committee. And it is September 7th, 2022 at 7 o'clock, and we will commence the meeting. The agenda will be consisting of the current status of topics from August 9th, the Verizon contract renewal status, the review and approval of minutes for the August 9th meeting, and any other concerns that anybody wants to bring up. I've been in constant contact with both Verizon and Comcast regarding the letter from Rick Collins. They are working on resolving the matter as much as they can. Some of the issues may not be able to be addressed, but both companies have sent me a list of items that they will be taking care of, and both of them said that work would begin this week, weather permitting. I also spoke with the planning board, and they basically are going to bring up the idea of changing the zoning bylaws to bury cables and electronic lines in new subdivisions only, as it would be way too costly to require it to be done retroactively to any other part of the town. The Verizon contract renewal status. I spoke with their spokesman, Neil Connors, and he is going to be sending us a copy of their contract proposal in mid to late October. And he looks forward to taking care of this matter. And it's my belief we should start working on the issues that we can negotiate with them. Amongst those issues would obviously be the percentage that we get from them, capital funding, the length of the contract, and any other issues that we would want to do. Does anybody have any suggestions as far as what we will do with the contract?
4.3% and 86,000, whatever it was we asked for.
8,600.
Yeah, 86,000 over 10 years.
10 years,
right?
yeah.
8,600 a year from Comcast.
Yep.
John, we already negotiated Comcast and signed a contract with them earlier this year.
And I'm also thinking we should ask for 3 HD channels and see what we get from them.
We got one HD in 2 to 3 years, I think they said.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow up with them on that.
Yeah.
I was also, what do you think would be the best length of it? 10 years?
I can help you out here.
Okay.
Here's what you can expect from Verizon. They will not grant a license or accept the grant of a license for longer than 5 years. So the Verizon that we will encounter in 2022 is going to be a different Verizon than the one we found in 2008. And there will be several changes in the license that are, as far as Verizon is concerned, non-negotiable. One is that the term will be a maximum of 5 years. So, for example, the capital that you suggested a moment ago, 8,600 a year, that's fine. They'll do 8,600 a year for 5 years instead of 8,600 a year for 10 years. So that's probably going to work, and that's the amount we're getting from Comcast in any event. So that's completely consistent. And the percentage of the gross annual revenues, 3%, is what we're currently getting. Actually, we got 4% from Verizon, I think, at the end. In any event, whatever we got from Comcast
It was 4.3.
4.3. We can expect that Verizon will match.
Okay.
Now, the other things that will be different, in an HD channel, Verizon will give us a better a quicker response to the HD channel than Comcast. Comcast's is 2 to 3 years, 24 months, 36 months. Verizon, you get it in 270 days.
Wow.
9 months after you submit a written request. And you simply have to tell them whether you want it dedicated to one channel or dedicated a combination of all the channels, all the other 2 peg channels, or how you're going to want to configure it. They don't care, they just need to know so they can technically set it up that way. The
So what
other-
do you mean, they would, how would they configure it among 3 channels? It would be one channel?
Well, you can set it up to have the best of 3 if you want. The best programming from all 3 channels put on one HD channel if you
Really?
like, or it can be dedicated to just one of the channels, like
Oh.
P or G or E.
Mm.
They can do that.
So, given that Comcast, they have this basic cable service, so we're saying that Verizon will come up with another flavor, which would be different from what Comcast is offering. And if that's the case, they're saying that that's non-negotiable, meaning that we just take what they give us. Mhm. So I guess I'm referring to Article 5 programming that says that currently Comcast, they have this basic cable service. My understanding is that they have the basic package that they give to Abington. In that case, that's it. Is that true?
So,
Mhm.
I'm not following your question.
I guess, isn't this, okay, looking at this piece here, this is what Comcast offer, and we turn around, Verizon will offer something which is not this piece, is that correct?
Basic, yes.
Okay.
That's directly to the subscribers.
Uh-huh.
That wouldn't change, right? The programming packages they offer the subscribers?
Well, we don't have any way to control programming.
Mm.
So they can change it if they want. The obligation is that they give you, each subscriber and the issuing authority, written notice if they're going to change programming. But we don't have any, the cable committee or the issuing authority, the town, doesn't have any ability to control their programming.
Right.
That's their call.
That's good.
The other thing that you can expect from Verizon, there are 3 things: the 5-year term, the HD channel, and the third thing that will be different will be that Verizon insists on having a right of unilateral termination of the agreement after 30 months and giving the town 180 days written notice. In other words, even though they agree to a 5-year term, they will have the right to quit after 3 years, 36 months. Now, if they do that, the capital will be paid up completely. So whatever amount of capital they agree to, if it's $8,600, they will pay that all up within the first 2 years. So 43,000, I guess it would be total.
Mhm.
The town, the access folks would get their $43,000 probably in 2 or 3 payments before year 3. And then after that, if they want to terminate, they give a letter to the town with 180 days notice, and they can terminate and cut all cable service to the town of Abington. That's the new Verizon. Those 3 things.
So that's non-negotiable.
That's non-negotiable. So far it has been, yes. And Verizon has been doing their licenses with these changes for perhaps 3 years now.
So they would just leave, not
They
that
would
they
just-
want to renegotiate a contract?
That's right. They would leave, they would terminate their cable business, but they can stay in the broadband and telephone business, unlike Comcast. Comcast is a pure cable company, and they're under a different section of the federal statute. And in order to provide any service into a municipality, whether it's telephone, broadband, or cable, they have to have a cable television license. No license, Comcast loses its license, it has to shut everything down and go home. It can't market broadband, it can't market telephone. Verizon, as you all know, started out as a telephone company. And they were already in town as a telephone company. They were already here. They already occupied poles and put their equipment and plant over public rights of way. And they have the right to stay here as a telephone company. They got a cable license that allowed them to sell cable and market cable, but if they give up their cable television license, they can still stay in town as a telephone company and a broadband company. So they're a very different type of company than is Comcast.
Good to understand.
To your knowledge, have they quit any town?
To my knowledge, they haven't quit anywhere in Massachusetts.
But we have no choice if they do, anyway.
We have no choice if they do, that's correct. That's their call. The other thing that that Verizon will do as compensation in part for exacting these unusual and rather harsh demands on an issuing authority, they will, if asked, give us a 15% premium on the capital. So if we negotiate $8,600 a year from them, and then we ask them for a 15% premium, they'll give it to us. So that's another 869, about another $950 a year over 5 years, another $2,000 or $3,000 above the $8,600 per year. One of the best things about Verizon is you get an HD channel very quickly. I have not known Verizon to give more than one
Okay.
so far. Nor have I known Comcast to give more than one. I have known a company called RCN to give 3.
Yes.
Just a quick question. In regards to receiving the HD channel, will we be able to increase the capital amount if needed, if we need to do any upgrades to be able to accommodate the that extra channel?
No, the capital that you need to negotiate now for the capital you're gonna need, and you need to anticipate what you might need in the future for upgrades related to the HD channel.
But it's not too late to modify our number, or are you suggesting that the number we're asking for now would be?
One of the things that Verizon, actually one of the things both cable companies do is, they look at the other license and they say, okay, we'll do the same. They call it level playing field.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And if you are in a situation as we are, where you've got one license that's $8,600 per year and 4% gross annual revenues, that's Comcast, Verizon is gonna look at that and say, we'll match it. There may be acute or extreme or unusual circumstances where one or the other might give you something more than what the competitor does. But I don't see that here. I think the deal we're gonna get from Verizon will be $8,600 a year and 4% gross annual revenues. And the 15% premium if we want.
And if I could ask, what would the length of the contract be? Would it be much shorter than the 10-year?
It'd be the 5-year.
It would be the 5-year?
It'll be 5, yeah.
Okay.
Verizon won't do anything more than 5 years anymore.
Okay, thank you.
And that's basically as much as we'll be able to negotiate with them, am I correct?
That is correct, yeah. My experience. I've got about 5 or 6 Verizon licenses I'm negotiating right now, and it's the same with every one of them, and has been that way, as I say, for about 3 years. When they first sat down and told me that they were gonna limit their licenses to 5 years, it was about 3 years ago, I managed to squeeze a 7-year license out of them in a moment of weakness, and that was the only one they ever did. Next time I met them, they said, nah, we can't do that anymore, it's gonna be 5.
Have they told you why 5 years?
No, they say it's a business decision. my opinion is that Verizon is looking and trying to evaluate whether they want to continue to be in the cable business or not, whether it's going to continue to be profitable. And one of the things they'll say is, we'll only match what the other company is giving you because we have to stay competitive. We want to stay competitive, and we want to stay in the cable business, that's what they'll say. But obviously, when you're limiting your term to 5 years, and you're also insisting on a unilateral termination to bail out, somewhere in the corporate process, you're thinking, we want to be able to make a quick exit if this business doesn't look like it's going to be profitable to us anymore.
It's worth noting, I think I had told one of the members earlier, is I've been watching social media, and Verizon is advertising to cut the cable, cut the cord. Why would you be doing that if you are not already anticipating what you're going to be doing down the road? And who will it affect? It won't affect them. I think you said it perfectly earlier, is they can pull up stakes as they have, what they originally are. They are not, like Comcast, a cable company. And they can live as a broadband provider and do quite well. And if they can eliminate their competition, that's exactly what they're doing, is just trying to, get rid of the competition and be the one who is offering those internet services at tiered rates.
And they want to get all cable companies basically, I think, have a long-term strategy of minimizing cable and maximizing broadband, because there are no fees in broadband. There's no pass-through costs, there are no percentage of gross annual revenues that have to be paid to the municipality for public access purposes. That may change for streaming platforms if the Massachusetts State Legislature enacts the act that's before them. And that would certainly be a welcome additional source of funding for public access across the Commonwealth if that happens.
Unfortunately, that piece of legislation is stalled out on its second run through. I would think that hopefully the legislature will kind of look past the streaming services, because Verizon and Comcast they're making deals with a lot of these, the Netflix and the Hulus, to come on board. It's not going to affect them. If there was a way that we could go after internet service, if that was some way that could be monetized, because that's where they're making their money, is through the internet. They're not making it through cable subscriptions. Just my 2 cents.
Could it be somewhere down the line, Verizon may be thinking of selling that business, selling the cable business, maybe in the next 5-10 years or so? Because if one understands that Verizon is attempting to either reduce or cut service, they may likely just sell that business unit to another vendor. Yeah, just a thought. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so again, Mr. Connors indicated he would be sending their contract proposal in October. Will that contain all this, or will he have a blank there, or how will that work
Well,
in your experience?
my experience is the first contract you get will have the money, have a blank space for the money. And then we tell him what we want. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to send him a letter now, or I could give him a call or send him an email, or you could, just saying, Mr. Connors, for our renewal for Verizon, we're looking for 4% and $8,600 a year for 5 years, plus a 15% premium. That might mean that they would get a jump on the, what they have to do is, Verizon's finance office, I think, is in New York, and the 2 local people, or 3 local people, have to run the finances through the office in New York and get approval. So if we were to tell Mr. Connors or Mr. Harrington now, we're looking for 4% gross annual revenue, $8,600 a year for 5 years, 15% premium, that's level and matches what Comcast gave us. If we were to tell them now, they might be able to get approval from Verizon's head office in October or November, and that would speed the process up. I'm just looking at the date, February 25th, '08, so that's really gonna be February 24th, 2023. It was a 15-year license.
Right.
So I don't think we can expect to renew early, quite frankly.
Okay.
I've never seen Verizon do that, and I haven't seen Comcast do that in years. They typically don't renew early. But it wouldn't hurt at least to tell Verizon what we're looking for, you know? That'll speed the process up.
Okay, I'll make the motion that we have Peter send Verizon a letter with our expectations, 4.3% PEG franchise fee, 1 HD channel, and $8,600 annual capital payment with actually 15% premium on that.
And that would be,
To be renewable
Yes.
February 24th, 23.
okay.
With a renewal date, yes, of February 24 of 23.
Any discussion? I'll second it. Any discussion?
Again, to just another clarification regarding the PEC provider. Who do we have? How many PEC providers do we have in the Abington area?
2, Comcast and Verizon. Yeah.
Oh, so I thought that okay, that's public education and government. Okay, for some reason I thought that the PEC should look like that they are like subcontractors, but I guess as indicated, so it's Comcast and Verizon. Thanks.
And I'll amend that motion to include the 5-year length of contract.
Second that. Any other discussion? Because I'm thinking that if that's the reality,
That's the reality.
okay.
I mean, is there something more that you envision asking for or needing from Verizon beyond that? And the other question that I would have for you is, if you know, do you know what the number of subscribers is for each cable operator?
Yes, I do.
This also depends on the
They're about
subscriber
equal.
not being too disparate, you know, not too.
They're equal, more or less.
If they're more or less equal, then you should not have any trouble getting the same economic,
I'll get you the figures
That's
after the
fine.
meeting, but I do have a
okay.
printout, because you can find that on the
It's about 2,500
100, yeah,
Each?
yeah. That's about correct.
roughly.
Yeah.
That makes it a lot easier when they're approximately equivalent.
They are.
Any other discussion?
You might want to think about the public hearing too. You'll need to have a public hearing the way you did for Comcast.
Is this not the
Actually,
public hearing?
We had a public hearing in August, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
That's right, sorry.
So we're
Withdraw.
good?
Yeah, that's right.
I wanted to get it in before
Yeah,
COVID came
that's
back.
right.
All right,
They're all public hearings,
but this one,
technically.
yes, but the one hearing we had in August had to be
August.
advertised and so forth, and it was.
Defined as such.
It's a different legal requirement for the
Mhm.
I see.
required one public hearing.
Mhm. Okay. So if that's the case, can you just go over the terms one more time so we're all understanding them?
Sure, my motion was the 4.3% franchise fee as we get from Comcast. 1 HD channel, we could ask for 3, but I assume we would only get 1. $8,600 annual capital payment plus the 15% premium, and 5-year length of contract.
Everybody understand? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Okay. I will get an email off to him. How long, it's gonna be a while before we get anything back from him, am I correct?
Well, he said October.
October.
Yeah.
So I would propose meeting the first week in November. Does that sound reasonable?
Sure.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. The next item of business is to approve the minutes of the August 9th meeting, which you,
I will make that motion to approve since John wasn't here.
and I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any other comments, complaints on the cable service or any business that were not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance of this meeting? Okay. I would propose that we set a new meeting date for the 2nd of November. Are you free?
Wednesday, the 2nd, I am.
Is everybody good with that?
Mhm.
7 o'clock,
At 7. Town Hall.
Town Hall, probably in this room.
Good.
I like this room.
We should have a draft license to look at then. And maybe it'll have the funding in it too.
Yeah, okay. Is there any other business that needs to be discussed?
I don't think so.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Second, say second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.